Okay, so I'm back at the truck again today, and I wanted to answer several people's questions over the last few videos that I've made. I don't know, 4 or 5 videos on this contraption that I've made, and people have asked questions, and I mean, some people think it's a great idea. I guess people understand it, others don't. I feel like I'm building a tiny house again. I mean, it's a simple little thing, and all of a sudden, you know, getting everybody saying, well, that's not going to work, that's not going to work, how are you doing that? And tiny house is still standing. I made it out of 2x4s, and no, I guess I made it out of 2x6s. I stand corrected, 2x6s. But oh, the floor, that's what it was. I used the old floor joist from the mobile home trailer, the mobile home trailer that came, that the tiny house is sitting on, the trailer, the floor joist, 2x4s, and I just reuse them. Oh, you can't use 2x4s for the floor, that'll never hold any weight. Well, yeah, it does. Remember, it's a tiny house, it's not going to have a water bed in it. So, of course, everybody thinks that things weigh much more than they actually do. If you look up a standard lawnmower, they weigh, I don't know, 600 pounds, somewhere around there, 400 to 600 pounds. If you get into zero turns, even to 60 inches, they only get up to about 1,200 pounds. And so this is a 2,000 pound winch. So the winch should be able to handle it. But you got to remember, the truck can't handle a big zero turn lawnmower. It's not wide enough, it won't fit. I got to take the deck off in order to do that, in which case the weight drops dramatically. Maybe 100 pounds, I don't know. So, you know, now we're back down to 1,000 pounds. I don't think a zero turn weighs that much, but that's what they said. So, okay, let's just do it. So, you got to understand a little bit. I mean, you got to do some math here. First of all, if you were to lay a 2x4 across the beam with it just like this, and you put a weight here, just hanging. So the 2x4 is just, well, let's just say this is a 2x4 just hanging across in space, and you hung a weight on that, then you can hold, I think, 600 pounds, depending on the wood and all that. Now, if you stand it straight up and down, like in a house, it's they say 1,000 pounds. Now, that's all the code and everything. I'm sure it can handle more than 1,000 pounds, but that's what they say. 2x4 can handle 1,000 pounds. Okay, so I have 2 2x4s, and even if I just take the 600 pound into consideration, that's 1,200 pounds. So that's a bigger zero turn. Assuming I was lifting the zero turn completely off the ground. I'm not. The zero turn does not weigh 1,200 pounds coming up the ramps. I don't know what it weighs. I'm sure you could put some sort of weight thing on it, but it's rolling, so you're not getting 1,200 pounds of force pulling it. Now, if the wheels were locked up or something, then yeah, you probably would get a higher weight ratio. But that's not what we're doing here. When you look at my setup, now, first of all, this sets down, it stows down, and I'll show you that in a bit, but I want to leave it up for now. If you look at my setup, I am not pulling straight out. Okay, it is not pulling straight out. It is pulling down. And so when you look at, I'll come to the other side, it's almost, it's a little bit off. But I'm going to set my camera so you can see there's the 2x4, or the 2x6. And when you take the cable and you look down at that ramp down there, it's almost straight. It could come up a little, let's see, I should go a little lower, I guess, and it would be completely straight. So when you extend this all the way out down to there, so the weight of the lawnmower on the 2x4 is essentially pushing down on the 2x4. It's not pulling it this way, it's pushing straight down into the floor bed or into this bolt, however you want to look at it. Even if I wanted to pull myself out of a ditch, I wouldn't just run this straight out. I would run it down towards the trunk of the tree, and it would be a down, you know, it would be a straight angle. Now, the thing I worry the most about as the weak spot is the truck bed itself. I mean, that's just a thin piece of metal there. And that one bolt, that has me more concerned than anything. So if I'm too worried about it, all I got to do is take a strap. These can hold 800 pounds. I strap it down to the cargo tie down up to here, and then I can pull it down a bit, and that would take some of the weight off that bolt. So again, when we look at it, if a 2x4 can hold 1,000 pounds straight up, which is basically what I'm doing, although it says an angle, you got to think the force of it is straight down on the board. So that's 2,000 pounds because I have 2 boards. Same thing applies to the 2x6. I'm not going to rip these bolts straight out. Somebody said, you're just going to rip those bolts straight out of the 2x6. No, again, it's a downward force. It's pulling this way. Of course, a lot of people said I should have used metal, but the cost would have went way up, and I don't know what I'm trying to pull that's going to be that heavy. It's 2,000 pounds. It's not that much weight, and I'm only pulling half of it. So I don't understand why I got to have so much strength. I don't. It's overkill to do anything else. It's a waste of money. And this is what I've said about on my channel so many times. In order to live your dream, you got to stop wasting money. You got to think realistically. If you're buying a 2,000 pound winch, why are you trying to set your system up for 12, 16,000 pounds? It's ridiculous. All I need is to pull a lawnmower up. So for less than $100, I got a complete setup here with the winch and the wood, and it serves the purposes amazingly well. Now, of course, if I started to hear popping or cracking, I would stop and try to figure out what's going on. Now, like I said, I can drop this down. What's interesting is there is so little weight on the system, that direction, that when the lawnmower is on the ramp, all 4 wheels are on the ramp, it's just hanging there, I can lift it up at that point and I can set it down. That's what's so cool about this, is while the lawnmower is still attached, there is so little directional weight, you know, the force that everybody thinks it is actually under. I can set it down and lift it up, and the lawnmower doesn't move. So there's no weight trying to break the board. When the front wheels come up to the tailgate, the lawnmower starts to lift up. So as the front wheels come up onto the tailgate, the front wheels come off the tailgate. It lifts up off the ground. So again, we're at pushing, I don't know how to explain it. We're pulling this direction, not this direction. So all the weight is on the strongest part of the 2x4. And then when it gets to a point where I need more room in the back of the truck because they can't pull anymore, because now I'm just lifting straight up, I set this down and it pulls it straight up. The other nice thing about this is if I need the nose of the lawnmower to sit in here, I can lift this up, put some underneath it so it doesn't bounce on the hood of the lawnmower, and I park the lawnmower right underneath it. This has worked out fantastically. So I don't know how to convince people that you don't have to overkill everything. When I was building a tiny house, it had to be overkill. You have to have 2x8s for your floor. I don't know why. I mean, I know they do it, but I don't know why. I mean, if you got a lot of heavy furniture, but the heaviest thing we got in our house is the freezer. That's it. If you can't put a freezer full of food on 2 2x4s, because that's about what it would take is 2 2x4s. I think I put them at 16 inches. So, full of food, I mean, it's a small freezer. Then, how do I explain it? If you can't do that, if the 2x4s can't do that, then it's not a good 2x4. So, I just wish people would think more logically before they start. That ain't gonna work. I mean, the thing is like I said, I've done this several times already, and it worked. How can it not work if it's working? That's what I don't understand. So that brings me to, I forgot my 2x4, to the lawnmower. I want to put a winch on it for lots of reasons. And we're going to do that this fall. And I've been trying to figure out how to do it. So I've decided I'm going to put it on the back. But I really wasn't sure how I was going to do it until today. I figured it out. I don't want to drill any holes into the lawnmower. I don't think that's a good idea. So there's a bolt hole right here and one on the other side. I think you can see what I'm doing here. Bolt hole. So this is the transmission here. If I took a 2x4 and I stuck it underneath the transmission and put a bolt through it, that would keep it from falling down. Now, I have a lot more thoughts than what I can explain on a video. I would just have to show you. But again, we're not going to do this until this fall. But the thing is, I was thinking, well, I would like to be able to lift lawnmowers, like the back end of the lawnmower, off the ground so I can tow it around. Like a tow truck. So I got to thinking, I don't know the length of it yet. I'll have to, you know, get my garden cart up here, you know, the one you tow around, and see how all this would work out and play out. But if I ran this way up here, imagine this 2x4 is longer, and I ran it way up here, I could lift lawnmowers up off the ground. Then, of course, I'd have to put some bracing on it and different things. I understand all that, but I think that would work pretty good. And it's removable. If I didn't want to keep it there, I could take it off. So then I would have my winch up here on a crossbar, similar to what I got over there, and I can just pick lawnmower straight up off the ground. Now, my concern is that's going to cause too much weight, and the front end would come up. Now, this can tow 1,500 pounds. I had an old Murray years ago, I bought it in 2001, I think, 2003, from Walmart. And I had a trailer hitch on it, just like this one. And I used to go around cutting grass for a living with it. Well, somebody had a huge trailer in their yard, and I wanted to get up underneath there so I could cut the grass. So I hooked the trailer hitch up to it and pulled that trailer out of the way with that little bitty lawnmower. The thing is, the nose came up, so I just leaned over the steering wheel, and I was able to keep it down so I didn't flip over. So I thought, what am I going to do in case I get something too heavy, like a zero turn or something, and it lifts the front end of this mower off the ground? Well, or like I'm wanting to drag a log. I've done that before. I've shown you to do that on videos. So I can also make a setup over here with these two holes on both sides, where I can make a platform out here that I can stack bricks onto. And that would give me front end weight. And I would be able to stack as many bricks as I wanted, you know, reasonably, to keep the front wheels on the ground. But I want to keep the weight on the back, because this thing, the only thing that keeps this thing from doing a good job is the wheels start spinning, because there's, you know, there's just no weight in the back. So if I had weight in the back, this thing would just tear through this place. So if I wanted to, you know, hang something off that winch or do something. So I've got a lot of ideas. Again, I'm going to have to do this on video when we get all the parts and the 2x4s and the 2x6s. But it is coming together. But the thing is I don't intend to do any more than what the winch can do. Now, like I said, I think I said this. I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't. I've been watching videos all day about 2,000-pound winches. And I watched a 2,000-pound winch today pull a 6,000-pound car up onto a trailer. It was pretty incredible. They got it halfway up, and then they had to put a block and tackle, basically. It was just a single pulley. And that doubled their capacity. So I have no intentions of ever doing anything like that. I just want to tow lawnmowers around. And in case the truck ever gets, you know, on a slippery spot, I'll be able to help pull myself out of it using that winch up there. Or even the lawnmower. Let's say it's got stuck here on the property. The lawnmower can help me pull it out. So, I don't know. I just want to make sure that when you're looking at things, before criticizing, analyze what you're talking about. And realize what it is that we're talking about. We're talking about lawnmowers. I mean, they're just not heavy. ATVs, golf carts, those kind of things. I'm not going to work on those. But even a boat. You could pull a boat up onto a trailer, a boat trailer, using that winch. It would work. So if you'll click this up next box to take you a video over to my other channel, really appreciate it if you go check it out. I think it's a brand new video today. So if I can inspire you to think it through, stay and live your dreams. Thanks for watching.